Imagine waking up one day with everything you've ever dreamed of: a brilliant career, a stable life, and a promising future. Now, imagine losing it all in the blink of an eye. What would you do if your perfect life suddenly turned into a nightmare? Sarah was a renowned architect, dedicated to designing spaces that changed lives. But a devastating accident altered everything. Suddenly, she found herself trapped in a body that no longer responded as before, and with a partner, Mark, who hid dark intentions behind a supportive smile. How would you cope upon discovering that the person you trusted most planned to ruin your life, to take everything from you? And how would you find the strength to reinvent yourself and transform tragedy into a new opportunity? Subscribe to the channel and click on the notification. Help this channel reach 1,000 subscribers. This way YouTube will deliver this content to more people who will benefit. I count on your help. Today, we'll dive into Sarah's story, a woman who found a new purpose amid chaos and, despite betrayals and challenges, discovered an unexpected talent that not only changed her life but also exposed the truth of a sinister plan. Prepare for a journey of overcoming, shocking revelations, and above all, hope. Sarah had always been an example of dedication and passion for architecture. Since childhood, when she played with building blocks, she showed a natural instinct for creating. Years later, after much study and sacrifice, Sarah became one of the most respected architects in her city. In her firm, every project was crafted with a blend of technical expertise and genuine empathy. She didn't just design, she got involved in people's lives, offering emotional support and celebrating each small victory alongside them. Her colleagues admired her, and her clients adored her. It was common to see thank you notes and flowers scattered around her office, a testament to the difference she made in so many lives. Outside of work, Sarah had an equally fulfilling life. Married to Mark, a charismatic and successful entrepreneur, they were a couple admired by all. Together, they attended social events, traveled to exotic places, and were seen as the perfect example of success and happiness by everyone around. Sarah's life seemed like a modern fairy tale, full of professional and personal achievements. But as we know, life has its ways of surprising us and changing the course of events. While Sarah navigated her daily life, transforming spaces and radiating joy, she had no idea she was about to face a storm that would test not only her physical strength but also her resilience and fighting spirit. She was unaware that the real battle of her life was just beginning. Everything changed one autumn afternoon when Sarah was on her way home after another long day at her firm. The road was calm, and she was enjoying the moment, relaxing to her favorite music on the radio. Suddenly, a speeding car ran a red light, colliding with Sarah's vehicle with devastating impact. The sound of metal twisting and glass shattering was deafening. Everything went dark for a moment, and when Sarah regained consciousness, she felt intense pain throughout her body. She was trapped in the wreckage, unable to move. The world around her seemed distant, a whirlwind of sirens, muffled voices, and flashing lights. Sarah was quickly rescued and taken to the hospital, where she underwent several surgeries to treat her multiple fractures and internal injuries. The following days were a blur of pain, medication, and concerned faces of friends and family. But the hardest part was yet to come. When she finally awoke with more clarity, Sarah received the devastating news: the injuries to her spine had left permanent damage. Simple movements became a challenge, and she would need months of intense physical therapy to regain some mobility. For someone who had always been so active and independent, this news was an almost unbearable blow. Sarah felt as if the ground had been pulled out from under her feet. Fear and frustration consumed her, but at the same time, a small flame of hope burned in her heart. She knew she had to fight, not just for her life but also for her dignity and future. Mark, her partner, seemed to be the rock she so desperately needed. He was always by her side, holding her hand and promising that everything would be okay. He spoke with tenderness and took care of all the details, from medical treatments to managing the household. Sarah felt grateful to have him, believing that his love would be the strength to help her overcome this dark phase. However, reality was about to reveal itself as much crueler than she could have ever imagined. While Sarah focused on her recovery, Mark was plotting dark plans that threatened to destroy everything she had built and believed in. Sarah's fight was just beginning, and she would need all her strength and courage to face the challenges ahead. Mark continued to be the attentive partner, always by Sarah's side during her physical therapy sessions, bringing her favorite foods, and ensuring she received the best possible care. His words were of comfort and encouragement, always reinforcing the idea that they would get through this phase together. Sarah, though still frightened and fragile, found some solace in Mark's apparent love. As the weeks passed, Mark suggested something he described as a great opportunity for Sarah's recovery. He found a rehabilitation clinic in a distant city, specializing in innovative treatments for injuries like hers. At first, Sarah hesitated. The idea of being far from home and everything she knew was terrifying. But Mark, with his sweet persuasion, assured her that this clinic had the best specialists and would be her best chance to regain her mobility and independence. Still vulnerable and trusting Mark's intentions, Sarah agreed. The clinic was isolated, surrounded by mountains and dense forests. The place had a tranquil, almost idyllic appearance, but it also exuded a certain coldness that Sarah couldn't ignore. Mark stayed with her for the first few days, helping her settle in and meet the professionals who would care for her. Over time, Mark began to visit less frequently, always claiming unavoidable work commitments. Sarah tried not to be upset, focusing on her therapies and getting to know other patients. Among them, she befriended Emily, a caring and attentive nurse who became a key figure in her new routine. It was Emily who started to notice that something wasn't right. The distance between Sarah and Mark, his prolonged absences, and evasive behavior raised suspicions. Sarah, in turn, began to notice that her finances were being managed strangely, with blocked access and decisions made without her consent. One day, Sarah received an unexpected visit from a lawyer sent by Mark with documents for her to sign. These papers transferred most of her assets to Mark's exclusive control under the pretext of facilitating their management during her recovery. It was then that the cruel reality was revealed. Mark was taking advantage of her vulnerability to seize everything she had. Heartbroken and feeling betrayed, Sarah realized she needed to fight for herself. And it was precisely in this moment of despair and anger that she discovered an unexpected way to channel her emotions: painting. Emily, recognizing Sarah's hidden talent, encouraged her to explore this new passion, planting the seed of a transformation Sarah never imagined. Shaken by Mark's betrayal, Sarah found an unexpected refuge in painting. Initially, Emily suggested the activity as a form of occupational therapy, something to distract Sarah from her worries and pain. They started with watercolors and simple paper, without great pretensions. To the surprise of both, Sarah demonstrated a natural talent. Each brushstroke seemed to relieve some of the anguish Sarah carried. Her paintings captured deep emotions, moments of pain and overcoming, and a raw beauty that touched everyone who saw them. Emily, always attentive and caring, noticed that Sarah transformed in front of the canvas, finding a new and powerful voice through colors and shapes. As days passed, Emily became more than a nurse to Sarah. She became a friend, a confidant, and a fervent supporter. Emily began bringing more sophisticated painting materials, encouraging Sarah to explore different techniques and styles. Sarah, in turn, immersed herself in this new passion, finding a renewed sense of purpose and autonomy. Emily had a cousin who owned a small art gallery in the city. Recognizing Sarah's talent, she suggested that some of the paintings be displayed there. Hesitant but encouraged by her friend, Sarah agreed. Sarah's first paintings were exhibited discreetly, but it didn't take long for them to attract the attention of visitors. The authenticity and emotion in her works resonated deeply with the audience. Sarah's story, a renowned architect who, after a devastating accident and unimaginable betrayal, found redemption in art, began to spread. People weren't just buying the paintings, they felt inspired by Sarah's resilience. The news of her transformation went viral on social media, attracting journalists, art critics, and curious onlookers. This wave of attention brought an unexpected turnaround. The public exposure of Sarah's story led to the revelation of Mark's treacherous acts. He found himself confronted by the media and public opinion, becoming the villain of a narrative he had helped create. Sarah, on the other hand, became a symbol of strength and overcoming, a woman who found a new path and a new voice amid chaos. Emily stood by Sarah throughout this process, helping to manage the sale of paintings and deal with the avalanche of attention. Together, they not only exposed Mark's dark truths but also paved a path for a future full of possibilities and new opportunities. As Sarah's paintings began to attract more attention, social media became a powerful catalyst for her story. People not only admired her art but were also moved by the narrative of overcoming behind each piece. Photos of Sarah's paintings, accompanied by inspiring captions about her journey, started being shared by thousands of people. A journalist from a major art magazine discovered Sarah's story and decided to write a detailed article about her journey. The text highlighted not only her artistic talent but also Sarah's incredible resilience in the face of adversity. When the article was published, it became an instant phenomenon, catapulting Sarah to the center of national attention. With the viralization came interviews on TV shows, newspaper reports, and numerous invitations for exhibitions. With each new appearance, more details of Mark's betrayal came to light. Sarah, with courage, decided to speak openly about what happened, revealing how Mark had tried to take advantage of her vulnerability to seize her assets. Sarah's sincerity and strength touched the public's heart, who began to see Mark as the villain of the story. Public pressure on Mark increased exponentially. Investigations into his actions began to intensify, and former acquaintances, once silenced, decided to speak out about other questionable behaviors. Mark's public image quickly crumbled, and he found himself isolated and despised by society. Sarah, on the other hand, began to realize the transformative power of her story. It was no longer just about her recovery but about inspiring others to find strength in adversity. In every interview, she made sure to mention Emily, the friend and nurse who stood by her through all the difficult moments. Together, they personified a message of friendship, resilience, and the importance of mutual support. The viralization also brought significant financial opportunities. Sarah's paintings were selling quickly, and the prices were rising as demand increased. This unexpected success gave Sarah the chance to regain some control over her life and assets. With this, she began to plan something that would go beyond her personal recovery, a project that could help others facing similar challenges. It was then that Mark, devastated by guilt and public pressure, decided to try to redeem himself. He approached Sarah not with empty apologies, but with a concrete proposal. He suggested selling one of Sarah's most valuable paintings to fund the creation of a rehabilitation center. It was an attempt to repair the damage caused and show that he genuinely wanted to help. Initially skeptical, Sarah decided to accept the proposal, not for Mark, but for the people who could benefit from the rehabilitation center. And so, a new phase of her life began to take shape, with renewed challenges and hopes. Mark was in a state of despair. The public exposure of his Machiavellian plan and the overwhelmingly negative societal reaction left him devastated. He felt the weight of guilt and shame for his actions. He isolated himself, reflecting on how he had gone so far in his greed. Regret began to consume Mark, and he realized he needed to do something meaningful to redeem himself, even if never fully forgiven. It was then that Mark decided to approach Sarah, this time with a genuine attitude of remorse. He asked to meet her in a discreet cafe where they could talk without interruptions. Sarah, though reluctant, agreed to hear him out. When they met, Mark seemed like a changed man. His demeanor was that of someone deeply regretful, not the arrogant Mark she knew. Mark began the conversation by acknowledging all his failures and detailing how deeply he regretted his actions. He spoke about the pressure and greed that had blinded him and how seeing Sarah's resilience and strength made him realize the colossal mistake he had made. Mark knew that words would not be enough to repair the damage, so he proposed a concrete plan: sell one of Sarah's valuable paintings and use the money to create a rehabilitation center. Sarah listened in silence, feeling a mix of emotions. The pain of betrayal was still strong, but she also saw a glimmer of sincerity in Mark's eyes. After reflecting for a few moments, she agreed, not because she fully believed in Mark's redemption, but because she knew the project would benefit many people who needed help, just as she once did. Mark threw himself into the project, determined to prove that his redemption was real. He organized the sale of the painting, and the amount raised was more than enough to start the rehabilitation center. Sarah, though still cautious, actively participated in the planning and creation of the center. She wanted to ensure the place was a true sanctuary for those seeking recovery, both physically and emotionally. The construction of the center was a collaborative process. Mark involved specialized professionals, and Sarah brought her experience and vision to create a welcoming and efficient environment. Emily also joined the project, bringing her passion and dedication to patient care. Throughout this process, Mark continued to try to redeem himself, not only through work but also by seeking therapy to deal with his own internal demons. He knew that Sarah's trust might never be fully restored, but he was determined to follow a path of integrity and service. The rehabilitation center was inaugurated with an emotional ceremony. Sarah cut the red ribbon alongside Mark, Emily, and other collaborators, feeling a mix of accomplishment and hope. The center not only represented her own journey of overcoming but also the possibility of redemption and transformation for all who passed through its doors. Mark's attempt at redemption was a significant step, but the true impact was yet to come as Sarah and her team began to welcome and help those who, like her, sought a new chance in life. With the funds secured from the sale of Sarah's valuable painting, the creation of the rehabilitation center began to take shape quickly. Sarah, Mark, and Emily, along with a team of architects and rehabilitation specialists, began planning every detail of the center. They wanted a space that was not only functional but also welcoming and inspiring for all who passed through its doors. The chosen site was a serene location surrounded by nature, providing a calm and tranquil environment essential for patient recovery. Sarah and Emily insisted on spacious and well-lit areas, with green spaces for walks and outdoor activities. Each treatment room was designed to offer comfort and privacy, creating an environment conducive to physical and emotional healing. Sarah brought her experience as an architect to ensure the center offered the best available treatments. She collaborated with physiotherapists, psychologists, and other health professionals to develop personalized rehabilitation programs. Emily, in turn, focused on the emotional well-being of patients, implementing art therapy activities, support groups, and other initiatives that could help in holistic recovery. Mark, committed to his redemption attempt, took care of all logistical and administrative aspects. He negotiated contracts, managed the budget, and ensured the center was inaugurated on time and within the planned budget. Although Mark still carried the weight of his mistakes, he dedicated himself tirelessly to the project, determined to make a difference. The local community also got involved, donating time, resources, and moral support. Sarah's story had touched many hearts, and people wanted to be part of this positive transformation. Volunteers helped with construction, and local small businesses provided materials and services at reduced prices. After months of hard work, the rehabilitation center was ready to be inaugurated. The opening ceremony was an emotional event, with the presence of everyone who had contributed to the project. Sarah, Mark, and Emily stood on stage, visibly moved as they cut the red ribbon. For Sarah, it was a moment of complete fulfillment and renewed hope. The first patients began to arrive, each with their own stories of struggle and overcoming. Sarah and Emily were there to welcome them, offering not only medical treatments but also empathy and understanding. The center quickly gained a reputation for its welcoming environment and innovative approaches to rehabilitation. Art continued to play a central role in the center. Sarah used her painting skills to teach patients to express their emotions through art. The walls of the center were decorated with patients' works, each telling a unique story of resilience and hope. The impact of the rehabilitation center was profound and lasting. People who had lost hope found a new chance at life, Sarah, Emily, and Mark worked tirelessly to ensure each patient received the best possible care, creating a community of support and transformation. For Sarah, the center was more than a place of healing, it was a symbol of her own journey of overcoming. She had turned pain into purpose and was now helping others do the same. With each new patient she met, Sarah felt she was fulfilling a greater destiny, turning tragedy into triumph. With the rehabilitation center running at full capacity, Sarah found a new rhythm in her life. The dedication to the project and the center's success provided her with a new purpose and a sense of fulfillment she hadn't experienced in a long time. Her days were filled with interactions with patients, developing art therapy programs, and occasionally managing the center's activities. Although Mark had made significant efforts to repair his mistakes, Sarah maintained a safe emotional distance. He continued to participate in the center's administration and was respectfully included in important meetings, but their relationship never returned to what it once was. Sarah, however, felt grateful for the role Mark had played in the center's creation, even if full reconciliation was not possible. During one of her regular activities at the center, Sarah met Dr. John, a doctor specializing in physical rehabilitation. John had a gentle demeanor and a dedication to his work that immediately captivated her. Over time, their interactions became more frequent and informal. John often stopped by the center to discuss patient cases and progress with Sarah, and their conversations soon evolved into discussions about art, books, and personal interests. The affection Sarah felt for John began to grow unexpectedly. He supported her not only as a professional but also as a person, offering a listening ear and a friendly shoulder. John was inspired by Sarah's strength and resilience, and the way she used her experience to help others deeply inspired him. One day, John invited Sarah to a local art exhibition, knowing it would provide a relaxing environment away from the center's demands. The evening was a welcome break for Sarah, and she found herself genuinely enjoying herself for the first time in a long time. The connection between them deepened, and a sincere friendship began to blossom. As the months passed, the relationship between Sarah and John evolved into something deeper. They began seeing each other outside of the work environment, enjoying quiet dinners and outdoor walks. John became a constant partner in her life, offering emotional support and celebrating each achievement with her. His love for art also brought new meaning to Sarah's life, as she now explored new dimensions of her creativity and expression. John's presence in Sarah's life brought a new balance. He helped her unwind, laugh, and open up to new possibilities. Sarah's life, which had begun with pain and betrayal, was now filled with love and new beginnings. John proved to be not only a loving companion but also a true partner in Sarah's journey, supporting her in her dreams and goals. With John by her side, Sarah felt stronger and more fulfilled than ever. Together, they explored new interests and shared a vision for the future that reflected both recovery and prosperity. Sarah's story, marked by challenges and overcoming, found a new chapter of love and hope. She not only rebuilt her life but also found new and genuine happiness alongside someone who understood and valued her deeply. As the rehabilitation center continued to make a difference in many lives, Sarah found the strength to open up to the future, embracing both the lessons learned and the promises of a new beginning. Sarah's journey is a powerful reminder that even in the darkest moments, hope and resilience can flourish. Her story shows us that through adversity and betrayal, it is possible to find new purposes and paths to personal fulfillment. Sarah turned her pain into a legacy of help and inspiration and found love and happiness where she least expected it. In a world where we often feel alone in our challenges, Sarah's story reminds us that there is always an opportunity to start over and create something beautiful from the ashes. Whether finding inner strength, seeking support from those around us, or discovering new passions, life is a series of new beginnings and possibilities. If Sarah's story touched your heart and inspired you, be sure to explore more content like this on our channel. We have a series of videos that delve into stories of overcoming, innovation, and transformation. Subscribe, activate the bell, and follow our videos so you don't miss any of our exciting narratives. Together, We will continue to explore and celebrate human strength and the stories that shape our world. Until the next video.